Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DMZ's mission guide. Today's one is by no means quick. We took on the epic challenge of hunting party, complete 8 hunt contracts in a row without dying. Arguably one of the most frustrating missions in DMZ, especially after they said they've been making missions easier in Season 2, and they actually added 3 to this challenge from Season 1. Before we go any further, I want to give a massive shout out to Not Headshot, because without him, this would have been an absolute nightmare for me. I pity you if you're trying to do this solo. There's a couple of tips I can give you, but they're not going to help in the fact you still have to engage with a lot of operators, and with Assimilation in the game, sometimes you can end up taking on squads of 6. So I'll do my best to guide you through it. But without him, this would have been a nightmare. So if you want to catch some live gameplay between me and him on DMZ, sometimes on multiplayer and sometimes on Resurgence, you can check out his Twitch below. And we will be on Plunder for a little while as well, and Plunder comes back in Season 3. Let's jump into what the specifics of a hunt contract is. It requires you to kill an operator or operators inside of the green circle. If you complete a hunt contract after killing an operator inside of a green circle, it does not guarantee that that is a squad wipe. It means that they could be away from their squad. We didn't realise this until quite late in Season 1, and we did wonder why sometimes we would have operators all of a sudden come out of nowhere after we completed our hunt contract. So it was a definite change up from Verdansk and Caldera, and just one that it can work in your favour sometimes, but if there's a team of 6 inside that circle after they've assimilated, then you are going to run into a lot of problems. The helicopter is the best vehicle in the game to have while trying to complete this, because you're able to scout out areas and work out if it's worth going for or not. Trying to get a bit of money up as well will not hurt you, as UAVs are invaluable. And of course later on in the game, if you're still doing it by the time the supply drops come in, be sure to try and get them for precisions, mortars, advanced and normal UAVs, because that will help you out a lot. As you can see here, we picked up a UAV off one of those supply boxes and popped it while we're going into battle, and we're going to be taking on a team of 5 here. Now, we did set ourselves a bit of a challenge. It was just myself and Headshot doing this. We did have randoms with us. The randoms were sometimes good, sometimes not good, and sometimes strange. For example, when we decided to throw a helicopter about 100 foot in the air to land on final exfil, he stayed in the chopper and blew up. So it's bizarre, the randoms you can encounter, but you know, they are useful to have. Loadout wise, try and have a meta. I'm using the TAC 56. It does have very little recoil. It is very reliable. The RAL is a very, very powerful gun, high TTK, but unfortunately it is a very slow recoil, slow ADS gun, which can cause bother in close proximity fights. The KV broadside, of course, is the meta at the moment. The thing absolutely shreds, and it wouldn't hurt to have it. And if you have your third weapon slot already, I hear a riot shield is very, very useful for blocking shots. It also makes you quite valuable to your teammates, because they can hide behind you for revives and also for taking shots on other operators, and it means you can still be involved in the fight even though you have to try and hang back, because you are of course the one that needs to stay alive. Your teammates can die during this mission. It is just you that needs to stay alive, or at least the people completing the mission that needs to stay alive. Now, there is a bit of a cheesy way of trying to ensure you complete this, and it might be frowned upon by some people, but we also are dedicated DMZ players here, and we know how crappy it is when the bots kill you, especially if you're going to be on a streak like you were. As I'm talking, I also want to point out, keep an eye on the left hand side of your screen when I'm in the helicopter, and just watch the damage that Headshot does, because I can't get too involved, because if we die, I'm just going to wind him up, because we have to start from scratch. But the cheesy way of doing it, when you go down and you know you're going to die, like 100% no revive is going to happen, if you force close your game, either go to the dashboard and close it on the PlayStation or the Xbox, or close your Steam or your Battle.net on the PC, you will lose all your stuff, but your mission progress will continue to carry over. I am assuming that this is a feature they implemented because of the constant dev errors that players are having, so this is a way of saving your mission progress even though you lose all your stuff. I'm not going to call it an exploit, but I am going to say take advantage of it if that situation happens to you where you know you're going to die. And it's particularly if you've worked really hard for the mission, you know, dying in a crap way, that sucks. So yeah, just bear in mind that you can close your game and escape. Now, the other thing you can do to try and succeed in this mission, it's a tedious method, it's a boring method, and it's not a guarantee. You can just pick them up. If they get poached, it counts for you. It counts that they have been killed in that zone. So you technically can complete this without ever interacting with another squad. The problem with doing this, of course, is just how long it takes and the limited amount of contracts on the map. There's sometimes between 0 and 5 hunt contracts on the map. It's really difficult to tell what could happen. Use the hostage extracts if you don't want to risk exfils, because there are situations where going for final exfil when you're on a streak is a nerve-wracking experience, and sometimes you just gotta play it safe. In this particular instance, we lost our teammate who had helped us out in the fight. And I feel really bad that we did indeed leave him behind, but I wasn't risking that streak. In all fairness, though, he was a previous bounty that we killed and he joined us. So, you know, he had his chance in life. Now, what else needs to be mentioned about hunt contracts? They can spawn on the same team twice. Again, because of the way the hunt contract works, just killing one of them in a zone meets the requirement for the mission, but then the game will sort of register as other operators that haven't been killed in a hunt contract, and thus it can go back on them again. Yeah, also with helicopters, just be very careful of them, because obviously this is not Verdansk, this is not Caldera. They blow up extremely easily. Speaking of assimilation, assimilate where you can. If people plead to join, suss out if they still have a teammate in the nearby area, because sometimes they will run off, rejoin, and then try and kill you again. But as DMZ has been progressing, that's been happening less and less, and the team is more interested in joining to stay in the game and to keep the stuff. So yeah, 6-man squads definitely help, and you can also use them to go in and kill people for you in the hunt contract and just hang back to continue your streak. Sniper is also a decent weapon to have. If you have two teammates, try have one with a sniper, but broadside and AR are just very useful. But yes, a sniper on your team, definitely a handy piece of equipment to have. We also had a glitch in this one, and I might be having to test this one out in the near future. I jumped out of the chopper at the very end before the part of the game, and we could actually see the location of a squad down in hydroelectrics, which was quite strange. It's the funny things you learn on DMZ. There's a lot of glitches that have not yet to be patched. There's not really much more I can go into detail on this mission. It is a mission complete luck. The only other thing I can say is, if a situation doesn't feel right, if there's more than 3, or if they've already shot you, if they can land snipes quite quickly on you, fall back and just leave it, cancel your contract, go somewhere else. Or if the lobby doesn't feel good, just leave and come back in. On that note, my best advice, you can start this at the very start of a game, is just to grab a hunt contract, do one, and exfil, because at that stage, players won't have assimilated. You might get lucky and the contract will fall on people that don't have playfests, and it gives you an opportunity to just go in, do one. You can use the money you get from that hunt contract to go buy a UAV off a buy station, exfil, go back in, and you have that UAV. It is entirely down to you how you play this, it's entirely down to you how you push it, but the strategies I've outlined already are kind of the best methods I can think of to get this done. The other thing is, they do spawn in on a Sheikah, but there's only 1 per map, and it's not even a guarantee that will spawn in on the map. Honestly, I would be doing it over there, and I hope to see more bounty contracts come in the future updates. But with only 5 other teams being on the map besides yourselves, it is yeah, it's not really healthy for the lobby, because we all know what would happen. Again, if you've been keeping your eye on the left hand side of the screen, Headshot has been instrumental in the success of this one. And yeah, this is the final one. This is 8 of 8. So I think I'm just going to depart here on this one. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope some of the tips found their way to helping you. And I want to take note of the fact that Headshot got like 4 or 5 downs in that precision airstrike. He is just a machine, an absolute monster. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Oh, Chopper's taking too much fire. There's another rail somewhere.
Bombs. Where?
Mountains.
I think there's one in my building.
I'm pushing across here. Wait.
He flew.
Planting sonar.
There you go.
That's so real. We pushed a different team.
Ultra One, actual contract targets are down. Good work out there.
Done.
There's 2 players where I'm looking. This building. Okay, he can shoot through.